Hey Astro Kids, and welcome back. This is your February 2020 romance horoscope for Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So, if you are new to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any new content. And of course, if you enjoy this video, feel free to leave a like as well as leaving a comment. So, for this horoscope, I'm going to break this down into 4 groups. So I'm going to show you the groups and you can go ahead and pick which group is for you. And I'm going to leave timestamps down below so that you can go right to the group that you have picked. So, for this first group here, you have the 7 of Hearts. For the second group here, we have the 9 of Spades. For the third group, we have the Jack of Spades. And for the last group, for this fourth group here, we have the Jack of Diamonds. So go ahead and pick the group that resonates with you, and we will go right to your reading. So we're going to start out with this first group here, and I'm going to show you what these cards look like. So we have the 6 of Wands, the 7 of Swords, the 7 of Cups, Taurus, the High Priestess in reverse, the 6 of Pentacles, and lastly, Capricorn. So a lot is going on here as far as making the choice that serves you best in your life, finding that sense of security, that sense of harmony, where you fit in best in your life. So we're going to go ahead and discuss this. So starting off here, we have the 6 of Wands. And so this is calling for you to come out victorious as far as relationships go. If you are single, this is your time here, February 2020, to enter a brand new relationship. Now, if you are already in a relationship, this is showing that this can be very successful. This can be a very victorious relationship for you. But there is something here where you have to make the ultimate choice, the ultimate decision about what it is that serves you, about where it is that you are going to be victorious and succeed as far as this relationship goes. So there is a lot here about making choices, making decisions. Looking at the 7 of Swords, there's a lot here about harmony. And so, deciding where it is that you find this harmony, this balance within the relationship. And if there is disharmony in the relationship, this is where you're going to want to discuss this with your partner. And if you are single and there is disharmony in your own life, of course you want to face that first before entering into this brand new relationship. But we're looking at a very harmonious, a very beautiful relationship. So far looking at very, very positive for this group as far as relationships go. Now we have our second 7 here. And so there is something here to say about how this does involve a form of growth and evolution within your relationships and within yourself. And so there is something about how being in this relationship is helping you spiritually evolve on your path. And there is something big here, once again, about decisions, about choices. And so what is the ultimate choice, the ultimate decision about what serves and fulfills you the most in this relationship? And so you do have to make sure that you are taking care of your own needs, your own desires, coming to the ultimate choice, the ultimate decision that fully serves and fulfills you in your relationship. And of course, if you are single, there is a big decision here to make about what it is that you are looking for in a partner and in a relationship. And we also have Taurus here, which deals a great deal with relationships. Right? Taurus is dealing with the security, the stability, the foundation of this relationship. And some of you are dealing with a Taurus or have very Taurus related energy within your chart. By the way, Taurus and Cancer, very connected energies, as they're both dealing with this sense of security. Right, the moon is at home in Cancer, moon is exalted in Taurus. And so there is something here where many of you are trying to form a very stable, a very connected relationship where this individual values you, where you know that this individual is loyal to you. And so there is something here to say, though, where Taurus is showing you that this is going to be a long-lasting relationship. This is something that is sustainable for you. But again, with the 7 of Cups showing up before this, there is something where you have to make an ultimate choice and decision within yourself before getting everything that you need and desire out of this relationship, for this relationship to be stable and dependable for you. And so some of you intuitively know what the right path is for you and who you should be with. And so for those of you who are making choices about being in relationships with those who don't serve you, this is where these needs are not met. These needs for stability, for security within this relationship are not met because you're not following your true intuition of what is calling to you. And once again here with the High Priestess, many of you very gifted, very intuitive. Again, you have this inner sense of knowing as far as what partner serves you, what relationship is best for you, what is harmonious and victorious for you. Again, going back to this 6 of Wands and the 7 of Swords as far as relationships go. And so there is something big here with the High Priestess in reverse where some of you are not following your instincts and your intuition about what is right for you. And this is where, for many of you out there who have Cancer rising, Scorpio will be in your 5th. And this is going to be generally, so remember that you can have different placements depending on how your chart is set up. But for the general placement of having Cancer rising, you're going to have Scorpio in your 5th, which is going to give you this innate passion and desire for emotional fulfillment. And so if you are not trusting in your instincts and in your intuition to navigate you towards what is truly fulfilling and to what is truly your greatest desire in a relationship, then you are walking against yourself at this moment, because this is giving you the potential for something that is truly harmonious and beautiful and victorious and long-lasting. And so this is letting you know to make sure that you are using your discernment, to make sure that you're using your intuition about who is right for you. And we get another 6 card here where there is something big to say about how these major choices about who you are connecting to is highly important. And there is something here about the 6 of Pentacles that is about connection, that is about your surroundings, about who you are participating with, where in your life you're participating, how you're showing up. And so there is something big here to say about what type of relationship are you going to participate in? Who are you connecting to? Does this individual serve you? Are you actually in the right setting, in the right relationship? Do you have the right foundation? This is a big question that comes up here, where again, you have to use your discernment, your intuition, to guide you into the right relationship setting that is right for you. And so there's something big here that is about choices, that is about decisions. And for many of you, you could end up in a situation where you are with soul family, where you are making solid decisions that serve you, solid connections that serve and fulfill you greatly. But for some of you who, again, with this High Priestess in reverse, are ignoring your intuition, ignoring your discernment of what the situation actually looks like versus what you want it to look like, that there is something here about being in a situation that is not right for you. And we end here for this first group with Capricorn, where once again this is about the role or the position that you are filling. As far as relationships go, what is it going to look like? What is the end result? The actual strategy, the actual plan to get into a relationship that is best for you, that serves you to the highest level. And so are you playing the role that actually fulfills you and that actually is true to who you are? Or are you just playing a role to get into a relationship without looking at whether it connects to you, whether it's the right relationship, the right position for you to be in? So there's something big here about the position. There's something big here about the structure of the relationship. Is it harmonious? Does it serve you? And is it something sustainable? Is it something that lasts? Is it that victorious relationship that you were looking for in your life? So that was for the first group. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the second group here. So if you chose the 9 of Spades, this is for you. I'm going to go ahead and show you what the cards look like. We have the 9 of Cups in reverse, the Ace of Swords, the 5 of Cups in reverse, the 8 of Swords, the Empress, the 9 of Wands in reverse, the King of Swords, Virgo, the 2 of Cups, the 2 of Wands, and to end it, we have Leo in reverse. So a lot going on here. There's a lot here as far as facing what serves you and takes you to the next level, navigating and finding the perfect union for you that serves you and benefits you greatly in your life and is the most practical, the most authentic to who you are in your life. There is something big here about also standing by your truth and being open to a new beginning. There's something big here about leaving the past behind. This is huge about leaving the past behind and moving into a new relationship or a new space that better serves you. So there's a lot here to talk about, and we're going to get into this, starting off with the 9 of Cups. And the 9 of Cups is in reverse, and there is something here where you do need to release some old feelings, some old attachments from the past for many of you. If you are already in a relationship, then for some of you, this is going to be something where you're going to have to clear something up with your partner. You're going to have to put your feelings out there. You're going to have a discussion. Because there is something here where many of you are resisting this releasing of the old, putting all your feelings, putting everything all out on the table is a big story with this 9 of Cups. And with this in reverse, many of you are resisting this. And it's interesting that after this, and by the way, it's interesting that we have also the 9 of Wands here, but for this group, this is the 9 of Spades group. And the 9 is always the end. Right? The 9 comes before the 10 because it is a space of needing to release, needing to gain all of the spiritual wisdom and lessons, and to move forward. So there is something here about closing out an old doorway, an old experience as far as relationships go. And the next card here that we have is the Ace of Swords, where once again, there is something that you need to close out to move into a new and fresh space and opportunity. And for many of you, you are closing out an old relationship and making room for a new one. For some of you out there, you are just turning over a new leaf in this relationship by facing the difficulties, the conflicts, laying everything all out on the table. And so this is highly important here. And even to confirm this, we have the 5 of Cups, where there's something that you need to leave behind in the past. This 5 of Cups energy is always getting rid of something old that no longer serves you. And so there is a big story here for this second group that is about closing the doorway on something old that no longer serves you, moving into something that is more fulfilling, something that is more true to who you are and serves you to the highest level. And so the universe is majorly asking you in this group to close out an old doorway in your life. For many of you, this is closing out an old relationship. For some of you, this is closing out pain and fears and attachments to old relationships. And for those of you who are new to relationships, there is something here where this is closing out old belief systems, old fears, old conditioning about the way that you perceive and see relationships. There is something big here about leaving behind the old, which is weighing you down, so that you can move into something that is more fulfilling, more sustaining. But there is something here where many of you are resisting this. And we saw this earlier with the 9 of Cups in reverse. Now we're seeing the 5 of Cups in reverse, where you're resisting the change. You're resisting this opportunity to close out what is old, what no longer serves you. And for many of you, there is a lot here that needs to be faced, that needs to be addressed, a lot that's on your mind with the 8 of Swords here. Some of you overthinking, getting caught up in these old belief systems, these old perceptions of the way that things are. Again, for a lot of you, there are attachments to an old relationship or an old situation surrounding this. And with this 8 of Swords, it's almost as if you want to cover it up. It's almost as if you want to avoid what's on your mind, what needs to be brought up, what needs to be addressed. But there is something here majorly that needs to be cut out of your experience. So there's a lot going on here. It's a lot that needs to be addressed and sorted out. But again, you have to be willing to let go of what no longer serves you. And there is something big here with the Empress, where you have to do what serves you. You have to do what brings you joy and security in your life, in relationships. And so are you able to support and to find that security within yourself? And there is something big here where if you have this security within yourself, then you are willing to open up and express what it is on your mind, bring it all out on the table, discuss what needs to be addressed. And for some of you, this is addressing that this relationship that no longer serves you needs to come to an end. This is not for all of you, but this is for quite a few of you, that you need to have this conversation. You need to find this sense of closure by letting go of this old relationship. And for some of you, it's a relationship that you are currently in. For some of you, it is a relationship that you were in the past where you didn't find that closure, where you're still attached and connected. There's still cords there. And so there is something big about needing to cut out these old emotional cords and attachments to this old relationship for many of you out there. And actually finding what serves you and brings you the joy and happiness in your life. And so there is something big here about not needing to find the security in a partner, but first finding that security within yourself. And once again, we see this 9, this number of ending that is here with the 9 of Wands in reverse. And the 9 of Wands always feels like closing a gateway, closing a doorway. This is where you have to fully let go of the past. Because for some of you, this doorway to the past is still ajar and you're still continuously going back. Again, for many of you, there are emotional cords or attachments to these previous relationships or these past experiences. And there's something here where you need to let go, release, close the doorway to these old experiences in your life. And for many of you, you are resisting this change. Once again, saw this earlier with the 9 of Cups and the 5 of Cups as well, that many of you are resisting this change. Many of you are not releasing these old attachments that need to go in order for you to enter into this space of a fresh, new experience where you find that joy, that happiness, that security within yourself. And with the King of Swords here, many of you not expressing your truth. Once again, we saw this with the 8 of Swords, that some of you trying to hide what's on your mind, trying not to bring it up, trying not to express what needs to be addressed and brought up. And so some of you trying to hold on to this old relationship or this old experience or this old perspective, this old belief system, this old truth that no longer is true for you. And so this is where there are some of you who need to come to an understanding, come to an agreement, have a discussion, come to a conclusion. Some of you strongly need closure in order to move forward and to find that happiness and that joy that you were looking for. And this requires, with this King of Swords, standing by your truth, speaking your truth, and cutting out anything that isn't true to you, anything that doesn't serve you. And once again, with Virgo here, you have to do the hard thing. You have to do what is practical to you, what makes sense. You have to deal with the challenges and the difficulties. Do the work that is necessary. And for some of you, that is, again, going to be ending the relationship. And for some of you, it's going to be saving the relationship. But either way, there are hard choices, hard decisions that need to be made here. You must do what is practical, what is realistic. You can't avoid this situation forever, or this will end for you. So there's something big here about needing to do what is practical, needing to do what makes sense, not holding back on getting through the hard things in this relationship. And for some of you, you are dealing with a Virgo. For some of you, you have Virgo energy in your chart, but there are some practical steps that need to be taken to come up with a solution or a conclusion to what is going on right now in this relationship. once again, with the Two of Cups here, there needs to be a conclusion, an agreement, a discussion of some kind to bring this to a conclusion, to form a sacred agreement. For some of you, to form a sacred union, you have to address what needs to be addressed here in this relationship. And so there are things that need to be brought up. There are things that need to be discussed. And once again, with Virgo here, you can't avoid this. You must be realistic and take the steps that are necessary. And this is followed by the Two of Wands, where this is asking you to allow the universe to navigate you, to show you the direction and where it is that you need to go. And for a lot of you, you know which direction it is that you need to go in. But there is something where you are fighting against the universe. You are not taking the steps that are necessary. Right? And the two is very practical, where there is something here about needing to take the steps that are necessary here and to stop avoiding the direction in which the universe is trying to navigate you in. And this does go along with Leo here in reverse, that some of you are not being your true authentic selves. Some of you are not doing what you fully love, what you're fully passionate about, where you fully find that security, that confidence of self. There's something here where your self-worth is off, where you are not fully expressing yourself and bringing everything to the table that needs to be discussed, that needs to be brought up. There's something here where you need to be authentic and true about your expression, where you do need to bring it all up. And this does take confidence. It does take strength to do this. So that was for the second group. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at this third group. So if you pick the Jack of Spades, this is for you. I'm going to go ahead and show you the cards. So we have the Wheel of Fortune. In reverse. We have Neptune in reverse. We have Pluto. We have Venus. The Page of Wands. The Nine of Pentacles in reverse. And lastly here we have Aries. And so with this, there is a major choice, a major decision that needs to be had about what it is that you want, what it is that you desire, what you want to manifest and bring into your life. And there is something here about not wanting to let go of these old memories, these old connections from the past. There is something where you are deceiving yourself and fighting against the universe. And this is all derived from what it is that you desire, what it is that you are looking for in this relationship. And we're going to talk about this. So first of all, the Wheel of Fortune is in reverse. So many of you are going against the universe. You're going against what is fated, what is destined. You're trying to control things and make your own decisions about what this should look like. And so there is something big here where you need to release control. And if you are single, this is something where you need to release control of what you want your ideal relationship to look like. And just trust in the universe. If you are in a relationship, there's something big here where you need to give up control of how you want this relationship to play out. Some of you need to give up control of how you want your partners to be. There is something big here where you can't control your partner. You can only control yourself. And so if this relationship is not working for you because your partner is not showing up the way that you want them to, then this is destiny letting you know that it is time to move on. Because there is something here where you're trying to control it, you're trying to get it to look the way that you want it, but it's not really working out. There is something here with this Neptune in reverse where this is self-sabotage. This is deceiving yourself by believing in the fantasy that this can work. By believing in the fantasy that you can control the destiny or the outcome of how this is going to look for you. And so there is something here about holding on to an illusion or a deception of self. For many of you out there, and for many of you who are single, once again, there's something here about holding on to this fantasy or this idea about how a relationship should look. There's something big here where you have to really figure out what it is that you want and trust that the universe will fulfill that for you versus trying to control. And once again, we do see the control with Pluto here, that it's almost as if there is a obsession or a desire to control what this connection looks like. Some of you are obsessed with trying to make it work the way that you want it to. But there is something big here about how Pluto can create this deep transformational connection. And so a lot of you are looking for this emotional fulfillment, this emotional attachment that works for you. But there is something where, for many of you, it's not going to work because you need to go through this process of transformation within yourself. There is something here where Pluto is trying to break down the ego. It's trying to break down the old understanding of relationships. And so this is hard. This is a very difficult group if you pick this one, where there is something where you do need to work on yourself first before getting involved in a relationship. This is majorly showing up as this not being your time to be involved in a new relationship. And if you are in a relationship already, then it is signaling a time to either end it or work on it by doing the work within yourself. And so for many of you, the focus here is going to be more so on yourself and the work and the transformation that needs to be done internally versus actually this being your time for a relationship. And with Venus here, again, this is about self-love and what your values look like. What is your self-worth? There is something here where some of you are Once again, trying to obsess or fantasize over what you want it to look like. But there's something where you need to look at yourself and see, where does the worth and the value lie within you? Because there's something here where many of you are projecting this major loss of self upon your partner. You're trying to control how your partner shows up. And this is a result of not showing up the way that you want for yourself. There's something here where you need to establish this self-worth and this self-love within yourself first, before getting involved into anything. And so this is a major time for you to look at your own identity and to go through this transformation of self. To look at who are you and what is the worth and the value that you hold deep within you. What is it that you love about yourself that will be a mirror in your partner? And so for some of you, you're trying to control this from the outside, but there is something about needing to go within. And with the Page of Wands here, once again asking you about what it is that you want to manifest, what it is that you desire, what do you find worth and value in? And there's something here where many of you are wanting to manifest something that is outside of yourself. Once again, this brings us back to self, where for this group, many of you need to establish that worth, that value, that love within yourself. You need to look at how it is you want yourself to show up. What is the true expression of self for you? With the Nine of Pentacles in reverse, once again, not wanting to release these old attachments, these old views of what it should look like. Some of you are living in the past. There's something about this Nine of Pentacles card that does connect to memories. There's something here about reminiscing and looking back to something that was comforting, to something that did bring you joy and happiness. But it's time to leave that in the past, because there is something here where this is asking you to find this new sense of joy and security. Many of you who put security in your partners, it is time to find this security within yourself. And so letting go of these old memories, letting go of these old belief systems and these old perspectives on what was comforting and what was stable and secure is highly important in this transformational process of going within yourself. Once again, some of you are self-sabotaging. Some of you are deceiving yourselves by believing that you can control a partner, or believing that you can find this security within a partner. There's something here about looking at yourself. And speaking of self, we do end this with Aries, this sign that does rule identity, and there's something big here about finding what that identity is within yourself. What is the true expression of who you are? What is it that you truly find self-worth and value in within yourself? This is a huge question here. And so for many of you with this group, the main focus here is you, and really looking at yourself and figuring out what it is that you want and desire within yourself. before trying to sculpt the image of a partner. So we're going to go ahead and go to this last group. So if you picked the Jack of Diamonds, this is for you. I'm going to go ahead and show you the cards. So we have the Six of Cups in reverse. We have the Sun in reverse. We have Uranus in reverse. We have the Knight of Swords in reverse, and we have water in reverse. So a lot of reverse going on here. Very, very challenging group here. And there is a lot here where you have to figure out what serves you. You have to figure out what elevates you and takes you to the highest level, and be in that flow, be in that expression of self. And so we're going to go ahead and talk about this. This first card, the Six of Cups, is always a sign that is related to the home, that is relating to sharing, to giving of service. This is a very nurturing card here, but there's something big where you're not serving yourself. And you need to find out big time how to serve yourself in order to know what it is that you want in a partner. There's something big here, very similar to the last group, where you have to look within yourself before trying to seek something outside of you. Many of you trying to seek out nourishment, trying to get your needs met, trying to look for this service in a partner, but there's something where you must find this within yourself first. How can you serve and take care of yourself? How can you be generous to yourself? Many of you strongly need some self-care, some self-discipline. You really need to look at yourself and see, how can I serve myself and make sure my needs are met? And speaking of self, we do have the Sun card, which is the pure expression of self, where some of you are not purely expressing yourself. Some of you are not in that true joy and happiness. And again, with that Six of Cups in reverse, you're trying to find this need, this nourishment, this service through others. You're trying to find your happiness and your joy in a relationship. But first, it must come from you. So this is asking you to find that happiness and that joy and that pure expression within yourself. So many of you, with Uranus here in reverse, you need to go through a spiritual elevation process within yourself. You need to spiritually evolve and go to the highest level that serves you the greatest, and that is the true expression of who you are. So many of you who are in a lower frequency, a lower vibration, many of you who need to make changes within your lives to do what serves you. This is where, when you find this within yourself, you are able to form a solid connection and partnership that works for you. And so once again, I'm going to say this for this last group, that this really is not a time for relationships. It is a time to work on yourself. Because with this Knight of Swords card, it is almost like you are attacking yourself, right? Like you're actually stabbing yourself in the back by not being in the true expression of self. And so there's something here where you are stabbing yourself in the back by not serving yourself, by trying to look for something outside of yourself. This is challenging and creating chaos within your own life. So many of you are going against yourself by trying to seek something in a partner that you don't already have in yourself. And so there is some negativity, there is some lack that you need to cut out, that you need to remove from your own life. And with water in reverse, some of you are not in the true flow of what truly fulfills and serves you completely. Some of you are not in the true flow of the universe, following your intuition, following your heart. And so this is a challenging position to be in. This is really calling for you to find what is nurturing and what is fulfilling within yourself first before getting involved into any relationships. So this is for the last group. Thanks so much for everyone who watched. I hope you all enjoyed. Once again, if you like this video, don't forget to leave a thumbs up as well as a comment. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you all have a great day. I will see you in the next video.